Hi, my name is Anthony Principato. I'm a senior consultant with a company called Ambit Energy, and I want to start off by saying thank you for taking the time out of your day to view what I believe is one of the greatest and unique opportunities out there today. Now, I know that's a pretty bold statement, but I do firmly believe after you allow me to share some information with you about an industry, a company, and an economic opportunity afforded us by Ambit Energy, that your opinion may be just like mine. Why my wife Karen and I started our very own Ambit business. Karen and I reside in New Jersey. We have three wonderful children. Our eldest child is autistic, so as parents we are sole provider for all his wants and needs. Greatest concern we have is there's going to come a day when we're no longer around to provide for those wants and needs, and that responsibility is going to fall onto our two other children. Karen and I always want to make sure that we have something in place for the children to utilize without having to go into their own pockets. So we looked at various financial products, and then we were shown this opportunity. And the three things that we took away from this was, one, it's something we could build over time. Two, it had no exposure to the financial markets. And three, it could be part of our will. So whatever we built would be part of the estate. And that was extremely important to us. Why would you start your very own Ambit business? We could all look at all the items on this list, and they're pretty straightforward. But the one thing I want to draw your attention to is right to the bottom of the list is financial freedom. I mean, prior to seeing this Ambit opportunity, myself, like many other people, believe that financial freedom was someone that had a significant amount of money in the bank and can pay all their bills on a monthly basis. What I learned through this opportunity is true financial freedom is having enough money coming in month after month to take care of all your monthly obligations without having to work for that money that month. So something that you did one time, you get paid for it over and over again, and it's able to take care of all your monthly obligations. Now, everything you earn on a monthly basis above your obligations is wealth, and wealth enables you to do anything on this list that you choose. Well, here's the agenda. We're going to talk about the company, Ambit, and why it's truly focused on all our success. We'll talk about the industry, perfect product, what it means to be a customer of Ambit, all the great things we do for the customers, and the opportunity itself. Start off with the company. This is the vision statement of Jerry Thompson Jr., who is our co-founder and CEO, to become the finest and most respected retail energy provider in America. This is what you see when you walk into the offices of Ambit Energy. This is right on the wall. And what's written beneath it is even more powerful. What's written beneath it is never sacrifice integrity for growth. So when I seen this opportunity presented to me, this was one of those slides that I kind of filed in the memory bank. Very important to me. Why Ambit's the right choice. Founded in Dallas, Texas, 2006 by Jerry Thompson Jr. and our Chief Marketing Officer, Chris Chambliss. Just to give you a little background, these two gentlemen. Jerry Thompson comes from a long entrepreneurial family. Just to give you a little background, as a small child, Jerry worked in an ice house that was owned by his grandfather and his uncle in Texas. That ice house became a small convenience store. That small convenience store became the Southland Corp. Now, we are all very familiar with the Southland Corp because today that's 55,000 7-Elevens worldwide. So he's seen through his life the growth of an ice house becoming one of the largest franchises in the world. Well, besides that, he had a great business endeavor of his own called Caprock Communication. Caprock Communication is a company that Jerry built in the mid-90s, and what they did is they laid fiber optic cable throughout the southwest part of the country. He grew that business to a $300 million annual revenue and sold it for in excess of $500 million. But before that, Jerry was approached to be a seed investor in a franchise that was going to rent videotapes. Jerry opted to pass on that opportunity because he felt there wasn't longevity in it. In his mind, people were going to be sitting in their own homes watching videos by means than other renting a videotape. So he passed on Blockbuster Video. Fast forward to 2013, how are we watching videos in our homes today, movies? Through fiber optic networks. So it's almost like it's not what smart businessmen, it's not what we're doing today, it's what we're going to be doing tomorrow that makes them good, smart businessmen. So if you look at a guy like, and that to relate to a guy like Wayne Gretzky, who was the greatest hockey player of all time, and he sits there and people ask him, like, what makes you so different? Why were you so great? Two things, he says. One, there was never a goalie in the net. When I looked at the net, all I seen is the white. That was my opportunity to score. There was nothing to defend me. And two is I always went to where the puck was going, not where the puck is. So in Jerry's case here, Blockbuster was where the puck was. Caprock was where the puck was going. Chris Chambliss, on the other hand, he worked for a company called XL Communication. They were born in the mid-90s out of the deregulation of the telephone. What they did is they provided long-distance service in the southwest part of the country. Chris was part of the team that created the compensation plan for XL Communication. That's the same compensation plan that's used today by Ambit Energy, and that compensation plan created 1,500 millionaires. High growth experience, especially on Chris's end with XL. XL was a company within their first 7.5 years became a $1 billion annual revenue company. Fortune 500 executive team, besides these two gentlemen, one other worth mentioning. John Burke is our Chief Technology Officer. His prior place of employment was Verizon, and John is well regarded as one of the top CEOs in the country. CTOs, I'm sorry. The industry, deregulation opens the window. Awards and recognition, I'm just going to talk about two of them. One is the direct selling news. Ambit was named the 14th largest direct selling company in the world in 2012. That's being in business in 9 states plus Washington, D.C. If we go to the top of the list, number 1 is Amway, number 2 is Avon Products. Both of those companies have been in business in excess of 100 years and do business in excess of 100 countries. If you look at 1 through 13, their average time in business is 50 years. So here's number 14, 6 years in business. And where is Ambit going to be after being in business 25 years and 50 years? Very interesting. The other award we're extremely proud of is the one right in the middle, Inc. 500. In 2010, they were named the number 1 fastest growing privately held company in America. That's in business in 3 states, Texas, Illinois, and New York. They accomplished that. Ambit's the only direct selling company to ever make the Inc. 500 list, and the only company to ever make the list 3 years running. So they made it in 2010, 11, and 12. Some other things worth mentioning. Ambit has over 1.2 million loyal customers, an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, over $1 billion in annual revenue in less than 7 years. So when you look at companies that accomplished that in less than 7 years, companies we're very familiar with. Google, Facebook, and Groupon. Companies that didn't accomplish that in their first 7 years, Microsoft and Dell. And Ambit will pay out over $100 million in commissions to their independent consultants in 2013. This was a press release from the Wall Street Journal in May of 2013. Just the heading itself, Ambit named the world's largest direct seller of energy, still the 8th fastest growing on that global 100 list. And the third paragraph is bolded because it just really substantiates everything I said on the prior slide. The window is open. Energy monopolies are being broken up. The incumbents that we've known all our lives, they're still there, but they've chosen to be in the delivery part of the business. They do not want to be in the supply side, because on the delivery side, they've spent billions of dollars in poles and wires and pipes. And that's the infrastructure they built, and that's the infrastructure that they will continue to service. Customers have a right to choose who they buy their gas and electric from and what price they pay for it, similar to gasoline. You care about is the brand you buy and how much you pay for it. You didn't care who drilled the oil out of the ground, who did the refining of the oil. At the end of the day, it really comes down to who you're buying it from and how much you're paying for it. Timing is perfect. In the whole country, there's 28 states that are in some form of deregulation. And even within those 28 states, it's either gas, some cases it's gas and or electricity, and in some cases it's even partial territories. So we are in the infancy stage of this opportunity. How big is the Ambit opportunity? Well, just to give you a perspective, the entire opportunity, the entire country spends $475 billion in the supply of gas and electricity every single year. Compare that to when the telephone deregulated in the mid-90s, that was an $86 billion that had to change hands. This is fivefold. That $475 billion has to change hands. So the orange states are the states that Ambit services. Within those states, we have access to $64.7 billion that has to move from the incumbents to the likes of Ambit. There are 48.2 million potential customers in those territories, and the best part of it, Ambit only has a market share of less than 3% in those territories. So that means you speak to 100 people, 97 have never heard of Ambit, and a good part of those 97 have no idea deregulation is taking place. So if you go back to the prior slide, when I talk about timing, that last bullet here, current market share less than 3%, that's all about timing. How it works? Well, let's talk about how it used to work. How it used to work was the incumbents that we know used to own the generation plants. They would deliver through their infrastructure and charge us the highest amount the government allowed them to charge. Well, those generation plants they once owned have been sold to the likes of ExxonMobil or Shell Energy, and retail energy providers like Ambit have exclusive arrangements with those providers, and they buy the energy at wholesale, and then they retail it to us, the end customer. And how do they get it to us? The delivery takes place through the same pipes and wires that it always has, and it processes through the same meters that it always has. So be rest assured that when you upgrade your service to Ambit, that your gas and electricity will be delivered to your house the same way it always has. The service, what it means to be a customer. Perfect product. Everyone uses it. I mean, electricity especially, we use more now than ever. I mean, everything we buy today, as soon as we open the box, the first thing we take out of the box is a charger. And what do we do with that product? We charge it every single night. No cost to switch. Absolutely not. No contracts either to be a customer of Ambit Energy. No early termination fees. Nothing changes for the customer. As I mentioned in the slide before, everything gets delivered to your house the same way it always has. The only difference you're going to see is on your bill itself. You'll now have a supply portion that has Ambit as your supplier. And the second thing you'll notice is it's cheaper. Business owners like Karen and I, we have no inventory because the incumbent does that. We have no deliveries to make to people's houses. The incumbent does that. And we have no collections to make because the incumbent also does that too. And if we could add two things here as business owners, we have no employees outside of Karen and I, and in this business, no risk. Impressive savings and benefits, great savings, competitive rates. I mean, everything I've seen in all the territories, if I always printed out for people the flyers, Ambit has always been cheaper than the incumbents. And in the case of New York, they guarantee at the end of the year you will save at least 1%. Most people save a lot more than that, but in the state of New York, they will guarantee you at least a 1% savings at the end of 12 months. Satisfaction guaranteed, that's that nice little orange logo, which basically says, should anything happen when you're switching your service, upgrading, lights flicker, they go out, Ambit will pick up the first month's bill. Greenie Energy, should you choose to have your energy supplied from windmills and solar panels, that's absolutely an option. Welcome gift, just for enrolling, just for trying the service. Ambit gives you a hotel certificate, good for a 3-day, 2-night stay at 40 hotels around the country, and that's strictly just for being a customer of Ambit. Monthly travel reward points. Every time you pay your bill, you earn a point for every kilowatt and 10 points for every therm. Unlike a credit card where you have to earn points by physically spending money, so for every dollar you spend, you either get 1 cent, 2 back, or 3 cents back, depending on the card you have. Here, you're earning travel reward points by simply paying a bill that you've paid all your life and will continue to pay the rest of your life. Customer referral program. This is slide number 2 that I kind of checked off. This is the differentiating factor between Ambit and the rest of them that puts them in a class all by themselves. All customers receive a free website. That's your website. Even though you can't see it, that box up in the right-hand corner with the blue banner, that actually physically has your name on it. What you will do with this is you can check your consumption. You can check your travel reward points. But more importantly, once you get your first bill and you notice that you're saving money and you're getting these points, you're going to talk to people, friends and family. You're going to say, wow, I'm getting points, I'm saving money, and they're going to say, wow, that's great. Now, how do I sign up for that service? Well, simply you forward them the URL. They go on your website, they key in their information, and just like that, they become a customer of Ambit Energy that you referred to the Ambit. Now, if you refer 5 customers, you've done all the heavy lifting, you've brought the customers to Ambit. What Ambit's going to do is going to give you a choice of exciting travel package. So in lieu of having to accrue those travel reward points, they'll give you a travel package. Now, refer a total of 15, that's 10 incremental. What Ambit does is it takes the average those 15 spend on a monthly basis on their supply and applies it against your account. So let's talk of it in real numbers. Well, you spend $150 a month and they average out $175. What Ambit's going to do is going to credit your account $150 and you will not have to pay for the supply of your energy. Well, should it be the other way around where you spend $175 and they average to $150, you're only going to have to spend $25 that month on the supply. And all you did was refer 15 people to a service that saves them money, gives them travel reward points just like you, and they have the ability to do the same thing. Get theirs for free too by referring 15 friends and family of their own. Here's an example of a bill from Pennsylvania Power and Light. Larry lives in Moscow, PA. $68 is the check he has to write, and he's paying for the delivery of his energy to his home. Now the supply is zero, and why is that? Because he's got a customer referral credit of $143. His 15 exceeded his consumption, so Ambit is not asking him for anything for the supply for that month. So Larry now has the choice to spend $143 on anything other than writing a check to Pennsylvania Power and Light. Well, let's just look at, energy savings versus savings in gasoline. People are very, very familiar with the price of gasoline, how much they can save. So let's take Larry at $143 that he saved and round it up to $150. In 1 year, he'll save $1,800. Now, to save $1,800 in gasoline, somebody's going to have to give you off a quarter a gallon. You'll have to fill up 4 times a month for 10 years to save $1,800. Now, what's more realistic is you're probably going to save a nickel a gallon filling up 4 times a month, and after 10 years, you're going to save $360. That's all good and well, but what people don't realize, and we need to raise awareness on, is how much more money you can save running the biggest engine you have, and that's your home. And the only place it's available, that savings, is with Ambit Energy. Okay, so up until this point, everything I've talked about is strictly about being a customer of Ambit Energy. All customers are entitled to a website, energy travel reward points, the energy and credits up until including free energy. We're talking about the fastest growing company, privately held company in 2010. We're talking about a company that has 1.2 million customers, earns $1 billion in revenue after 7 years, and who has some real impressive and smart executives running the company. Ambit's marketing model. You, meaning the consultants and customers, what we do is we gather a handful of loyal customers, which generates income for Ambit, and in turn Ambit pays that out as compensation, residual income to its consultants, and travel packages and or free energy to its customers. So every company has a marketing budget, which they take a percentage of their revenues and they put it aside for marketing. Well, Ambit doesn't do traditional marketing. They take that percentage of money and they rather pay it out as either residuals to their consultants or in the form of free energy to their customers or travel reward packages. Because let's face it, somebody knocks on your door that's a stranger, chances are you don't open the door and talk to them. Cold callers, especially with caller ID, people don't even pick up the phone. And mailings, all people do is take them and put them in the garbage. Here, this is all basically relationships. It's all people we know, love, and trust that we recommend to the service. Now listen, there's personal relationships and recommendations. We don't have problems recommending music, movies, restaurants, and TV shows. And in fact, these 4 companies all grew strictly on our recommendations. We told people to go to these sites, and that's how they grew their businesses. The only difference, between Ambit Energy, recommending Ambit Energy, and these 4, we just didn't get paid for recommending people to these 4 companies. But we can get paid in many different ways by recommending people to a service such as Ambit Energy. So, to open up your own franchise of Ambit Energy, again, largest retail energy provider in the world, 1.2 million customers, annual revenues of $1 billion, is $429, one-time fee with no annual renewal. In some opportunities out there, you start an opportunity and they come out with new products and everything, you have to make incremental investments whether or not you like it. Here it's just one-time fee. And once the other remaining states open up, those are part of the 429. Should they go outside of the 50 states to Canada and elsewhere in Europe, that's part of the 429. $24.95, that's your monthly overhead. You're running a business, and to run a business, you need technology. And this is the technology that Ambit provides you. First of all, we could talk about the Power Zone. The Power Zone is our totally paperless back office. Everything we need to know. We want to see real-time customers joining our business. We want to see real-time people joining our teams. The system projects our weekly commissions. anything we need to know about a territory, the rates, who the providers are, what territories we cover. All those answers could be found in the drop downs of the Power Zone. Ambit University, that's the one to the left. That's a site that has all videos on it. Short 5-10 minute videos, all done by the top income earners in the country. And it's simply how to do the business, how to ask somebody how to be a customer, how to ask someone how to look at the business, and a variety of other things, all done by people who have been extremely successful in this company. And again, they're short and to the point. Bottom right hand corner, why Ambit works, and Energy 526. These are two videos that are provided by Ambit Energy that are similar to this, but not exactly the same. What they do is they go through the industry, the company, and the opportunity. And what they allow you to do is 10 minutes after you create your Power Zone, you start up your business, you can go knock on your neighbor's door and say, listen, I found something real exciting. It's very visual. Please do not ask me to explain it to you. Type in a URL, press play, and you could be showing this business 10 minutes after you sign up. Benefits of owning your own business, flexible schedule. You pick the time of day to do this. Everybody starts this off part-time, 15 minutes a day, maybe 30 minutes a day, but you pick those minutes when you want to do the business. Incredible tax benefits. This is all 1099. We're paid at the gross number. We deduct all expenses and we pay taxes on the net. I was a W-2 employee my entire life, and I paid my taxes, and I hope to get a refund at the end of the year. It's quite apparent to me now that the tax system was created with the small business in mind. Unlimited income potential, we'll get into that. I mean, this opportunity can be whatever you need it to be, as small or large as you want it to be. Making your decision to get started. 2 questions. 1, what's in it for me? That's the why. Ambit is a vehicle that can get you there. You need to fuel that vehicle, and you fuel that vehicle with your why. You know why Karen and I started this business, and what you have to do is figure out what your why is. Second one is should say, will I do this? Because basically, anyone can do this business. I mean, can I do it? Anybody can do this business. So it should say, will I do it? And what do we do? 2 very simple things. Gather a handful of loyal customers. Again, the people we know, love, and trust. And help others do exactly the same thing. So just remember these 2 things as I go through the next couple of slides. Gathering a handful of customers and helping others do the same. So how does one get paid? Well, first, when you sign up into the business, the company says you got to get 5 customer points. We're going to give you 2 points for setting up your Power Zone. Those are 2 laptops. You become your own first customer, and then you ask your neighbor to your left, your neighbor to your right, parent, sister, brother, whomever. And we do that within the first 4 weeks. You earn $100. Most people do this in days, never mind weeks. So within that same first 4 weeks, you get an incremental 2 customers. Now you can earn yourself an additional $50. Within the following 4 weeks, an additional 3 customers will earn you another $100. And in the following 4 weeks, for every 5 customers, you can earn an incremental $50. So, in 12 weeks, gather 28 customers, strictly customers. You can earn $450 and energy credits in both gas and electricity, depending on the customers that you gather and what your home uses. Because the magic number is 15. Here, there's 28. This is the first way that we get paid. Again, gather a handful of loyal customers was the first thing we did. And now we're going to help others do the same. So, 526 is the DNA of our compensation plan. I just explained the 5 to you. That's the 5 personal customers that you have to get. 2 now. We're going to help others do the same. So now we're going to help you show the business to your friends. So first one is you show it to your friend Bill. Bill takes a look at the opportunity and he says, you know what, makes all the sense in the world. He gets his first 5 points. He earns $100. You earn a matching $100 because you showed him the opportunity. Now you show it to your friend Sue. Sue takes a look at it. She gets her first 5 customer points. She earns 100. You earn a matching 100. So here we are into the second thing, helping others do the same thing that you did. So you gathered a handful of customers. We're going to help them gather a handful of customers. So now the third requirement is now you have to get the team to a total of 6. Now we're going to help Bill and Sue do the same exact thing. We're going to help them show it to their friends and family. And when they do that and they grow the team to a total team of 6, you now promote to your first leadership level, which is a regional consultant. As a regional consultant, you get a 55% raise. You're now paid $155 for those that you personally sponsor. The only difference now is when we begin to help those that you personally sponsored into your regional consulting business, every time that they help get someone to join your team, as they complete their 5 customer points, you get $55 to unlimited levels. So you get $155 for those that you personally sponsor and $55 to those that you help sponsor other folks. Now, when this regional consultant team grows to a team of 18, you now promote to a senior consultant. As a senior consultant, you're going to start another business while that marketing consultant business continues to grow, that regional consultant business continues to grow. Now you're a senior consultant, personally sponsored 2 people. Now you get an $80 raise. Now you're getting paid $235 for those you personally sponsor, $135 for those you help sponsor others. Meet certain requirements to promote to an executive consultant. As an executive consultant, you get paid $315 for those you personally sponsor and $215 for those that you help join the business. $340 is a national and $240 for those that you help within your business join the business. One other thing to mention, executives can qualify for a $1,000 monthly expense account. Nationals can qualify for a $1,500 monthly expense account. Now, these bonuses are paid every single Friday on a weekly basis, and what they are, the intention of them is to help you grow scale, to grow leverage. Because remember, we're only gathering a handful of customers, people we know, love, and trust, but we don't want just 28 or 38 customers in our business. We want hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even 100,000 customers in our business. And we can't do that all by ourselves. So here we're going to build out a team. And by building out a team, now we have scale, we have leverage. Now we can go out and get thousands or hundreds and tens or hundreds of thousands of customers. That was the second way we get paid. The third way we get paid, and this is another slide that I basically put a little check mark on, that was something that was quite impressive. This is the monthly residual income. This is a very simple grid. What we're going to do is we're going to assume that you join and you're going to personally sponsor 3 people. We're going to work with those 3 people to help them sponsor 3 of their own, and then those 9, 3 of their own. Do the progression 7 times, 7 levels, you'll end up with 3,279 consultants on your team. Now, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This does not happen overnight. So if this is going to take you 4, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever, you're going to be fine with it when you see the numbers. So it says here each gathers 10 customers. The requirement in Ambit to get paid at 7 levels of the compensation is to have 20 customers. So you're going to get your 20 because you're one of our rock stars. So you're going to get your 20. And everybody else is just going to get 10 customers because they're just half as good. You're still going to have 32,810 customers in your organization. Now, part of the residual payout is based on band usage, size of the account, how much they pay. So band 1 is a small 2-bedroom apartment, with band 5 being a small commercial or extremely large residential property. You get paid on the 15th of every month. The residuals are paid the 15th of every month, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what you're doing. You would have a monthly residual of $39,189 paid to you every month. Now let's just take this one step further. And let's just say you have your 20 because, hey, listen, you want to get paid on all 7 levels. And everybody else triggers the first bonus. They set up their power zone, gather 3 customers, they get their $100, and they decide, you know what? I'm done. I'm happy. I've got my $100. You would still have 9,857 customers in your business and have a monthly residual of $11,700. Now, I assume everyone can figure out what to do with an extra $11,700 a month. Again, it doesn't happen overnight, but this is the power of the residual income and building scale, building a team, building leverage. Because remember, you only had 20 personal customers, but you're getting paid on 9,800 customers. And one thing to draw your attention, in the band column, as you go down to levels 5, 6, and 7, you see it really starts to pick up, and that's the whole thing. The compensation plan is very deliberate. It wants you to continue to help people to grow that join your business, grow their businesses. So it's not just a person that you personally sponsored or they personally sponsored, and so on and so on. You will dig deep into your organization to help people well below you be extremely successful. And that to me is that's the excellence in this business. And the other thing to mention too, this 11.7 is predicated on the fact that 9,800 people are living in a band one apartment, and that's not the case. You're going to have ones, twos, threes, fours, and fives. So that number can fluctuate. So now you sit there and say, okay, 7 levels, I'm getting paid, band usage. What happens level 8 to the bottom? Well, I'll tell you what happens there. These customer residual bonuses, starting with as a regional consultant. As a regional consultant, you'll get paid band usage for customers on levels 1 to 7, plus a quarter every time someone pays those bills. So if it's gas and electric, it's a quarter for each. The band usage, on top of that, you get a quarter for the first 7 levels, and then strictly a quarter levels 8 to the bottom. Regardless how many levels or how many customers below, customers that join your regional business, you are going to get a quarter on top of band usage for the first 7 levels. Customers that join your senior business, you'll get band usage for 7 levels plus 50 and 50 from 8 to the bottom. Executives get 75, nationals get $1. Now, look at this as your own personal toll plaza. Quarters are coming in all throughout the month. Now, a person who collects quarters in the toll plaza when you drive through may not be the happiest person in the world, but I'll tell you who's happy. The person that's emptying out that toll plaza at the end of the day. And this is your personal toll plaza. Just to kind of put it into perspective, the top income earner in Ambit Energy is Brian McClure. He has in excess of 600,000 customers. His residual check, I heard on a phone call, for August 2013 was in excess of $332,000. So if you take those in excess of 600,000 customers and you slice it in 4 and you put 150,000 plus in each of those silos, a lot of quarters, very powerful. It's a biggest part of their of the residual compensation comes from these quarters. So just to wrap it up, why Ambit works. Just to kind of take a step back, if you knew today what you know about, especially the telephone, you could take it back to 1995 of how many people have phones today and what they're doing with them. And somebody can turn around and tell you in 95, I've got 4 companies. I've got Sprint, I've got Verizon, I've got T-Mobile, I've got MCI or AT&T Wireless. Pick one. And every time somebody pays a bill, you're going to get band usage. Band 1, somebody uses the phone a couple of times a month. Band 5, somebody who never gets off the phone and sends a gazillion text messages. And then you're just going to get a quarters for infinity every time somebody paid their bill, knowing that everyone has a cell phone and they use it constantly and they pay for it every month. You would sign up in a heartbeat. Well, this is no different. In fact, this is a public utility. You're earning a residual. You're getting paid every time somebody pays a public utility bill. This is exactly the same as that was. So if you could see in yourself saying in 95 I would have signed up for that, no doubt, and knowing what I know now, well, guess what? You already know 10, 20, 30 years from now, people are still going to be using electricity and they're still going to be paying for it. So service, not a product. Absolutely. I would never see myself in multi-level marketing if I had to sell a product. If I had to go and be trained on a product and I had to depend on people re-upping their order every month, going on auto ship to get paid, and I had to deliver something to somebody and collect money from them, it's probably not very great a chance that I'm going to do anything like that. That's just my opinion. But the fact that this is a service and not a product, and all the heavy lifting is done by the incumbent, and all I do is collect my residual by referring somebody to this service, to me it was a no-brainer. The power of part-time. When Karen started this business, I was still working as a managing director at Goldman Sachs. Didn't have much time, but I quickly learned that this business didn't require a whole lot of time because the business came to me. It came to her. We didn't have to set aside and say, okay, we're going to go out, let's get dressed and go out and do Ambit. No, Ambit came to me when I was commuting or just socializing or going out and playing golf or we're just out shopping. You're just talking to people and you hear what people have to say and things they would like to change in their life, and you just would tell them, listen, I have something real exciting. May or may not be for you. Give me 35, 40 minutes. Let me show it to you. And I think you'd be quite surprised how it can help your situation. Lucrative compensation plan, you saw it. Again, if you need it to be a small car payment a month, or you need it to be a second mortgage, or something to fund a college fund, whatever you need to be, you've seen the grid, you've seen the team builder bonuses. It could be whatever you need it to be. Perfect timing. Once again, 28 states, some form of deregulation. Remainder of the country still has to go to the process. And many of the 28 states that are in deregulation, most customers still, 90-something% are still getting their supply from their incumbents. Proven system. No company is going to pay out, over $100 million in compensation to their consultants if they didn't have a system that worked. This is like McDonald's, Wendy's, Starbucks. I mean, those are franchises that are very successful, and you open up on those franchises because you can see the success that people are having. So what do? You emulate exactly what they do. You set your store up the same way as the others are set up because you want to enjoy the same success that they did. Well, this is no different. There's people before us that have made lots of money. They're making a really good living on this. And basically their system, they put the system right in Ambit U, and it's extremely easy to follow. It's a very simple business. Like I said, the two things we do are extremely, extremely easy to do. Get started now. I mean, if you see what we see, if you have the excitement that we had the first time we saw this, I mean, there's no reason why a person wouldn't want to get started and do this. Become your own first customer. I don't think it's that tough to, as long as you have an electric and gas bill and you pay for it every month, you qualify. You can be your own first customer. Take control of your financial future. I mean, most people sit there and say, well, I kind of have a comfortable lifestyle and this and that. But in our back of our minds, we kind of always have that desired lifestyle. That's something else. That's something that we want to change, that we need to change. And you know what? It's not going to change unless we make a change, unless we do something different. So this is that something different. That's taking a step out of the box. Do something different to change your financial future. Here's a quote by somebody. I think he knows a few things about money. For those who recognize it and get it, they will find themselves positioned at the front end of energy deregulation across America, sharing in the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of America, $475 billion annually, and riding atop an income-generating tsunami. Warren Buffett. Again, this money, $475 billion, has to change hands every single year. And the telephone deregulation was only $86 billion. So again, this is the largest transfer. More importantly than anything, if you have questions, please get your questions answered. If this is something that you are just seeing for the first time and nobody referred you to it, Karen and I's contact information are here. Please feel free to call our cells. That's why they're there. If somebody asks you to take a look at this that is in the Ambit business, please go back to them and get your questions answered. It's very, very important to make a decision to get started in a business that you have all your questions answered. We want educated decisions and people with absolutely no doubt. We are, everybody here, we want to be your business partner. We want people that see this and want to build it just the way we do, but we want to make sure that you have your questions answered. And to research and stuff like that, Better Business Bureau, Public Utility Commissions, those are the places to go for a place like Ambit. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it, and have a great day. Take care.